Welcome back to another episode of Footy for Real, your weekly pod to keep up to date with the NRLW news. And welcome back, Shonny.
Thank you. Good to be here.
It's good to see you. And let's jump straight into it because round 7 had a lot and round 8 is setting up to be a pretty good matchups as well. So we'll jump into it. There was, however, some really big news in the NRLW. We've finally had some girls hit 50 games, which might not seem like a lot. We see the NRL boys usually celebrate their 100th game and things like that, but 50 games in the NRLW is crazy.
Yeah, it's huge. There's only 3 girls who have made it there so far in the 8 years that the NRLW has been running, so that is a huge milestone.
Yeah, so a massive congratulations to Ali Brigginshaw, Isabel Kelly and Keely Davis.
Yeah.
I think, lots of people were talking about Ali being the first to get to 50 games. Yes, that happened because her game was before the Roosters game. But yeah, for all of those girls to get there, it's a huge achievement for women's footy in general.
Yeah, and I think that those 3 players are probably the players that are most deserving of it as well. They are the ones that are on the field the most clearly, making 50 games, but they are the ones that have been stalwarts of the game. They have taken it to a new level. They've been the best of the best as when they get to the Australian level as well. So, yeah, congratulations to those girls.
Yeah, and it's crazy that Isabel Kelly, 50 games, she's been around for so long and people are often talking about, how the game's going to go past the girls who have been around for a long time. And the truth is she's leading the Dally M tally at the moment. So
wild. She's doing really well. And also Keely Davis is quite a young player. So I would tip her for making 100 games really soon. You know? Yeah.
Maybe the first player to do it. We know some things might stand in the way. Obviously no injuries, but we do know the injury rate is a lot higher for the women, and obviously families and things like that are also really, really important and can take a little bit of a chunk out of your career that the men probably don't have to think too much about. But let's get stuck into it because round 7 proved to be, quite fun. There was some close matchups, and I'm really excited to talk about 2 teams who finally got their first wins of the season. But let's start with the Sharkies. They played the Titans. The Sharkies come away with a 12-8 win, but it was a very, very tight game.
Yeah, tight game, 0-0 at halftime, and then Lauren Brown got them on the scoreboard. So then it looked like it was going to be a Titans game with them in the lead, and then it all just changed from there.
Yeah, one of those games where I thought Shante Kiriaratu, I said last week that, her playing against her old club, often it makes people go one of 2 ways. You can either play the best game of your career or you can hide in your shell a little bit against a team that probably knows you really well. She had her best game of the season.
Yep, she made a couple of really good breaks, and also I think that she has just become a totally different player in this team to what she was when she was playing for the Titans.
Yeah, something that we've been encouraging is that running game of hers. She's actually really quick. She just hasn't done it too much because she's so good with the ball. She's so good at setting other people up. She's so good with her kicking game. I know one thing she'll be frustrated with is her conversions.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks have proved to be quite hard. They've been out wide, but I think she's just coming to life again after that ACL injury and finding her home at a new club.
And having her sister there with her as well. That'll give you a lot
hasn't
extra.
she been killing it?
I know. She's been a wild card for the team. Lots of aggression, really solid player. So a great pickup, both of them.
Yeah. I think we spoke about just off air a second ago, which we're not supposed to do because we start having a really good conversation off air and then we don't talk about it. But Quincy Dodd, I think she was a massive loss for us. And yes, we got the win, but I don't think it was as comfortable as it should have been. Quincy's running game this year has been really, really good. She's obviously ruled out now until at least finals time with that syndesmosis and fracture on her leg. She was there. She was sitting up in the grandstand, leg elevated.
Yeah, fresh out of surgery. Oh.
Yeah, no, but Quince was a huge loss. As good as Brooke Anderson is, she is a beast. But Quincy's running game was really, really hurt us in the middle. I think just that leg speed, how quick she is, we were lacking that.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Brooke Anderson has done an outstanding job and she's solid at the job that she does, that she's assigned every single time. Really good in defense as well. But Quincy Dodd brings something extra, a whole new level of leadership that she's brought on herself this year specifically. And she has the players around her running onto her like magic. So definitely a huge loss for the Sharks.
Yeah, she is. And On the Titans, though, someone who also, like Brooke Anderson, loves to just make 500 tackles a game, Georgia Hale. I thought she was so strong again. And the way that they've been using her and Lily Colk, like I think to start Georgia Hale and let Georgia just, she actually, she loves the contact. She made 51 tackles again. She owns the record and probably the 10 records underneath that of most tackles in a game. So, yeah, for her to just start the game and come out, be aggressive, cop the brunt of your Ellie Johnsons and your Jacinta Carters to just take that and then let Lily Rose Colk come in. I thought she could have run more at times, could Lily. But, yeah, Georgia Hale, I thought she was one of their strongest again. Obviously, Loz Brown, her running game looked great. Her kicks were great again. It was good to see Fui back. Talia Fui-Mono, she was good. I know she was cranky at Emma Verren, who scored that try.
Yeah.
But, I felt like without Chapo, I didn't know how the Titans were going to go. And, I was honestly surprised at the 12-8 scoreline. I thought that was pretty tight for them.
Yeah, the Titans definitely were in the fight. I think that their halves picked up a lot with the loss of Jamie Chapman, like you mentioned. Lauren Brown is always solid and she's such a dynamic, game-changing player. It was really good to see Fui back in there. She did a couple of good rundowns. Shante Kiriaratu she got, and then she also, got the other side of the coin where it was Emma Verren getting over the line. But she certainly showed a lot more aggression in her game and a lot more footwork and speed, which was a different dynamic to what we have seen with her in the last couple of games previously. So, yeah, really good to see Fui back. I think that she's going to come back with a vengeance and only get better and better every game from here.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Let's move on to the Broncos versus Eels. Broncos 38 to Eels 4. Again, we spoke about Ali Brigginshaw. She's the first female player to get to 50 games. As we said, she has been such a leader of this game for so long. If you know women's rugby league, you know Ali Brigginshaw. That's just the reality of it. And she's copped some, backlash and stuff over the last probably 12 months, over the origin period, over Gillaroos selection last year. So I just think this is a massive milestone for her and she was great.
Yeah, I think it's the best thing that Ali Brigginshaw has put that stamp on 50 games, that she was the first person, even if it was only by a day because her game came first. It's so fitting for her, and as you said, she cops a lot, and it's because she uses her voice. And when you put yourself out on that platform, you get both sides of it. You get the people who want to support you and go on that ride with you upward, but then you also get the people who just want to hold you back. So she's brave, she's a stalwart, she is absolutely a leader, and it's a family affair as well, seeing her entire family out there supporting her. They're the ones that come along for the ride and make the sacrifices alongside her. So great to see her out there smiling and lapping it all up and her team around her. Love the T-shirts that you see on the team walk and they will be in the wardrobe for a very long time to come, and memories that she can kind of pull that shirt out of the wardrobe later on and be like, yeah, I did that first.
Yeah, that's a really, as you said, such a special moment. And, when the competition started with 4 games in a season. So, yes, it might seem like we've only got 11 rounds and that's not great. But for girls to hit 50 games when it was originally just 4 games a year with final or whatever, straight into a grand final, I think it was back then.
Yeah, it was. I think you could lose all your games and get into the grand final in the first season. So, yeah, crazy.
Yeah, absolutely nuts. But, obviously great to see that. Tamika Upton, no surprises again. She was just on fire. Everything she touches turns to gold. She's a superstar. She was setting up tries everywhere. We spoke about Hayley Maddock, who has moved to the wing. Who cares when you're scoring tries off Tamika Upton? She is just a beast.
Yep, she is a beast, and it just freakishly strong. I don't know where it comes from, but it's not just that she's slippery and she's got a great skill set. It's that when she runs into contact, she can actually get some good post-contact meters and get her hands free and do offloads. She's just got everything. And the connection between her and the centres on both sides, but specifically Julia Robinson at the moment, who's moved into the centre role, that has just opened up Julia's game. She is... I reckon she's trailing close behind Isabel Kelly in one of those number 1 centre spots.
Yeah, Julia Robinson, what a beast. Yeah. 275 run meters again.
Yeah.
Like, this is this is not a fluke.
No.
She's doing this week in, week out now. And, she just looks so good doing it. Like, she doesn't look like she ever gets tired. She's happy. Both sides of the ball, she's a gun. So she's obviously got those run meters, but puts shots on left, right and centre. We know both of their centres are strong. Mele Hufanga, she's, again, I thought she started this season probably a little bit slower than she probably has the last year. But, to see the Broncos firing is a scary sign for the competition.
Yeah, it's absolutely scary. And Hayley Maddock, you mentioned her earlier, but you've got to hand it to her. Just having a player like Hayley Maddock outside a player like Julia Robinson, that's fire. Like, Hayley Maddock knows how to ball play, and a winger who can use her footwork and ball play and then have a support player like Julia Robinson back on the inside, you're scoring tries all day.
Yeah, you certainly are. And someone who scored a really good try was Martha Mataele. She scored a great try, I thought, for the Eels. She was great. I thought their senior players tried really, really hard. Abby Church, 165 run meters. Kennedy Charrington made 30 tackles. So there's good signs there for the Eels. I just feel like they might be going through a little bit of a dip at the moment from the way they started the season.
Yeah, and it happens with teams, and you just don't know which one it's going to be throughout the season. And it seems to be the Eels at the moment. They started really, really strong, and then they had a couple of injuries, and Kennedy, one of their leaders, go off with a head knock and then come back on. And she really came out firing in this game. She almost scored herself a try, and Tamika Upton got her hands on the ball freakishly, however she does. But Kennedy Charrington was through, and they almost kind of had more points on the board, which would have given them a lot more confidence. And I think had they have scored that try, the dynamic in the game could have been a lot more different. But yeah, they're not humming at the moment.
Yeah. You've hit the nail on the head, exactly right. And the Broncos at the moment looking great. Can't wait to see them come finals time, because we know the Sharkies have a good history against them in finals time.
Yeah.
So, they were great. And as I said before, the competition looks scary with the Broncos firing. So it's starting to click, and it's not taking as long now. So, be aware for the next teams who have got to play them.
Yep.
Warriors Raiders were next, and I was excited by this one. Why? Because the Raiders are finally on the board.
Yep.
They've got their first win, a well-deserved win too. I thought the Temera sisters, Z and Shante, they were great. Zahara led the team. Her passing and her pass selection is so good. Her kicking game. Shante tackles everything that runs at her, so I thought they were on fire.
Yeah, I agree. They are a great team. Another sister duo who are a great team. We just covered the Eels, and you've got Kennedy Charrington and Ruben Charrington who really work the middle, and then you've got the Tamara sisters who do exactly the same. They're such an addition to the team that they're in, the Raiders. And Shante, she is just an absolute tackling weapon. Her size means nothing. She just gets through the work, and she's got this real stealth mode. But yeah, a very, very good player and an asset to the team. I think that they did a really good job against the Warriors, although the Warriors had a couple of numbers off the field for a certain amount of time. But for them to find their composure and really find the way that they want to play and play that game plan, it's a good confidence builder for them.
Yeah, it is. But I also think you can look at it the other way. We know that Matakino Gray and Taisha Ikanasio, they both got sent off in the first half very early on. So you're right. They were down to 11 players for most of the game, and the Warriors nearly clawed their way back into the game. So, yes, positives because they got their first win of the season, but in my opinion, shouldn't have been that close in the first place.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. It shouldn't have been that close. The Warriors are going strength after strength, and they are one of those teams that are just going to fly through the roof. I think if you listen to Ronnie's post game interview with Harata Butler, it's one of my favorite interviews so far. Just the way that they speak about each other, the way they pull the positives out of the game. They were talking about how their spine was so inexperienced, and they had to step up because there were players and leaders off the field like Uppy Nichols and
Patricia Malleable.
Yeah, I know, which are huge losses, and they just kind of weren't focusing on the deficit that they had. They were focusing on the progress and the opportunities that were given to the other players players, and I really love that. So if you get an opportunity, definitely go and look at the post-game interview with Hudita Butler and Coach Ron. It's one that, you just love to watch, and it warms the heart.
Yeah, no, she was pulling on heartstrings. I seen a video of her speaking in Māori to Fox or whoever it was, or Sky Sports, and she looked so emotional talking about her team. I couldn't even understand what she was saying, and I still watched the whole video like, oh my gosh, she's crying. So beautiful little touch there, and H has been playing some really, really good footy as well. So the Raiders too good for the Wars. Hopefully the Sharkies too good for the Wars next week. Hopefully that's what I'm coming in and saying. But Warriors winger Peyton Taki-Moana, she just loves scoring a try.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, what a season to come into. The Warriors' first ever season, a number of home games, scoring tries everywhere. It's a golden ride. That's
not next week, as I said, though. Not next week. She'll be getting held out every time.
Targeted players.
Let's move on to the Tigers v Dragons. That was on Sunday. Again, another team who are finally on the board. The Tigers beating the Dragons 16-12. They deserved it. They really did.
Yeah, I'm smiling from the inside. Another heartwarming moment of the round. I'm just so happy that the Tigers have finally got on the scoreboard. Late in last season, after a really tough run, they got the win, which changed the entire rest of the season for them. Well, the last game, to be honest. But what it does for you and a team like the Tigers, who are always in the fight, they just don't seem to get on top. Now they've broken through that ceiling. I'm excited to see how the confidence goes for them for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I think they just had to get this one out of the way.
Yep.
Caitlin Turnbull, and
Fire.
obviously we were going to talk about
that
her.
girl. Whoa.
So obviously a couple of changes to the spine. Caitlin Turnbull, we've been talking about her as probably the in-form winger of the year, rookie as well. And then she comes in, she plays fullback. Now, that's not an easy position to step into. That's challenging in itself and can be a little bit daunting. She absolutely killed it. She ran for 256 metres. She saved tries. She saved an awesome one on Tegan Berry. And we know Flash is so strong. But I couldn't believe how good she was at the back. And I think she needs to stay there. Obviously, Lizana Lutu is out. They had played Faith Monera at 7 and Jatea Faifua, who scored a double. She was at 6, who usually plays at the back. So I think this change has been good for them. Really, really good for them. But, yeah, I honestly can't talk about Kezi Apps enough. Jatea Faifua can thank her for that break that Kezi made where she probably ran 60.
Yeah.
She's so strong and she's so quick.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Like, we know Flash is super, super fast, but Kezi, she had to actually run to catch Kezia.
Yeah, she did. When Kezi's away, like, look at the length of her legs, but she knows how to use them. I know, if only. But Kezi Apps always makes breaks at crucial moments in the game or a tackle at a crucial moment in the game. She's a true leader. But that game, she definitely showed up. And as you said, Caitlin Turnbull, she was my player of the match. Absolutely. I don't know where she came from or what she's been doing before this, but that girl, she's on fire at the moment.
She certainly is. And the usual suspects in Kezi Apps and Sala Togatuki, who ran for 205 run metres. And as a fullback, when your middles are playing well, you can have a good game. So they definitely laid the platform. And Jatea, as I said, some good footwork to get her over a couple of times as well. Dragons, it wasn't happening. It was not their day. Obviously, Zali Hopkins went through on a nice little Racine McGregor grubber. Tegan Berry, she dropped a couple so close to the line, or the offload to Tyra Ekapati that they dropped. We don't usually see Flash get held up.
Yep.
She dropped one over the line, and then obviously the Caitlin Turnbull when she made that try-saving tackle. But, yeah, I thought it wasn't all bad news for the Dragons.
Yep.
She also had a couple of try-savers on her own as well. On winger, Rebecca Pollard, she absolutely smashed her. I thought Beck Pollard, she was flying on the ball.
She was absolutely flying. Again, isn't she like a hurdle jumper? I think that previously as an athlete, that was one of the sports that she had was doing. So you can tell when she's away, she's just smooth. You don't even know how fast she is, but you can tell once she's running side by side with a player like Tegan Berry. And as you said, Tegan Berry had both sides of the game, outstanding moments, and then moments where she wasn't so crisp. But it's just showing where the gap is closing, where she was an outstanding player the entire season last year, and now there are players who are really kind of creeping up the line, catching her, which it makes for such a good game. But still, she is an absolute freak. I mean, she ups the game herself every single time. The way that she is looking stronger when she's running into contact, when she's using her footwork, opening up the dynamic with a few more passes, and yeah, she's still got so far to go.
Still at the top of our game, that's for sure. Talking about the top of our game, let's move on to the Roosters v Knights. This was a cracker of a game. Roosters still on that winning streak. We spoke about it last week, the longest winning streak in NRLW history. But the Knights, they were 5 on the trot. They lost round 1 and then they hadn't lost until obviously on Sunday. So Isabel Kelly and Keely Davis, we said first 2 of the 3 to get to 50 games on the weekend. Taryn Aiken in fine form with 2 tries. Yep. But the big thing for me in this, Corbin Baxter. Yeah. Poor Corby. She's had a rough few years. One was the birth of her son. So
one was a very high.
Yeah, it was very, very high. But again, a year without footy after that, after Bodie. But then obviously the ACL, and we don't know yet what this one is, but the mechanism certainly didn't look great. I haven't seen NRL physio's post yet. That'll probably pop up in the Instagram feed today. That's what happened with mine. I was like, I'm not going to watch it. And then it popped up.
Pops up
like,
and you know. Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, no, I hope it's good news. I don't know if it is, seeing her so emotional on the sideline. It's hard to think that it would be great signs, but sending all of our love to Corby. It's just what an awful thing to have is a knee injury, and we know our game can be so good to us and so cruel to us at the same time. But the Roosters, they were too good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, first of all, my heart absolutely goes out to Corby. She is a player who has had a few injuries in her career, and then, as you said, she's had highlights. She's had her babies as well, and every single time, nothing but professional, nothing but determined, and just a leader, and showing us how you can return and show resilience and still be at the top of your game after anything that comes at you. So my heart goes out to Corby. I'm hoping also that it's just, a little bit of a cringe, that you know what it feels like when you go down on your knee. So I'm hoping that it's, something that she'll come back from really soon. But as you said, the mechanisms, you also can just see what goes on when it's on that slow-mo camera on the TV, and your heart sinks at that moment, but hoping for the very best. Yeah. Yeah,
definitely. And these ACL injuries, they just won't go away from the women's game at the moment.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a question about the Dally M system.
Yeah.
So the Roosters are stacked and we know it. Do you think it's a disadvantage for those girls who are playing really good footy? We know Olivia Koenig's been killing it. Taryn Aiken's obviously been killing it. Isabel Kelly's been killing it. Is it, a bad thing about being in a really good team who's winning all the time is having to share the Dally M points?
I don't know. I was pondering on that as well. Like, what way is better? You're a standout player in a team that's not doing so well. That makes you clearly, more on the highlight reels and able to be looked at, or you're in amongst a whole team of superstars and it's harder to be seen, or everyone is seen on the same level. Yeah, I can't tell you which one's worse, or
I can tell you. I would love to just, I am in an amazing team.
Yeah.
So we played in the grand final last year. So it's definitely, you want to be in a team that's premiership contenders. Yep. So we obviously play a team sport, but it must be so frustrating at the same time when some of these girls are just killing it. But this is the problem we've got with Isabel Kelly. She's been the informed player of the year. We know she's so far ahead. She runs for so many metres. But with Taryn Aiken back, with Koenig playing the way they are, it's just you've got to start splitting these points. And we saw with Sean Johnson in the men that sometimes the best player doesn't get the Dally M.
I know. Yep. It happens every year, and you can kind of get a sense of who was in the running. But at the very, very end, you never really know who's going to come out on top. And unfortunately, some brilliant, brilliant players have still not received the Delium.
Yeah, including Isabel Kelly,
Exactly.
I think. So maybe this is the year of Izzy. If it's not a Shark, I do hope it's her.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the Knights a little bit, because it was a bit of a back and forth game. There were some late tries by the Chooks, but I thought the Knights were in this one, and it's probably the most. Yes, there was a close game the Roosters had with the Broncos, but other than that, the most that the Roosters have been tested. A nice try to test Staines. She just keeps showing her pace. She's a quick girl.
Yeah, absolutely. Tess Staines came out firing in this game. She really showed what she had to offer. Her and Naividi, they were like going at it. It was kind of tit for tat and Naividi actually made some huge hits as well. But Tess Staines has finally got a platform where she's been given good service and good opportunity to show what she has to offer, and you can see that she's elite. She deserves to be there, and she's doing really well in her spot.
The thing that probably for me stood out, and I sort of thought the Roosters were home, was after the Knights scored a try and there was that kickoff, and Liv Higgins and Tiana Davidson kind of got muddled up, and off the kickoff they lost the ball. And I thought, oh yeah, it's done here. The Roosters will capitalise. So so there was some really good signs for the Knights. One that is not a great sign for Knights fan is I heard a rumour that Jesse Southwell might be going to the Broncos in 2026. I know nothing. This is just what I heard after the game, and I've watched her footy. I hadn't even heard a whisper about this at Clubland. I did not even know this was a thing. Have you heard about this?
No, I had not heard a whisper of it as well. I saw it. Well, actually, I heard it on the commentary, and then within 10 minutes, it was up on Watch Her Footy as a rumour. So that's the most that I've heard about it. Interesting. What a change. A very big curveball, because I never saw Jesse Southwell leaving, I would say. I think that she's really developed in her role through Newcastle, and she's definitely a player that they would want to keep, or I would say would want to keep. So, yeah, that would be a huge curveball.
Yeah, well, she's hometown hero in Newcastle, so it would really, really surprise me for them to lose both Southwell sisters. Would be absolutely crazy. I guess another controversial topic, are the big clubs at the moment just too good in the NRLW? Yes, like we know that the competition's close, but the way the game is working at the moment with girls getting jobs and things like that, is the clubs like the Broncos and the Roosters and stuff, are they just getting so many good players? Because you think if Jesse Southwell goes there, how does she fit into a team full of, their spine is so good.
And who is on the bench potentially, or leaving potentially for her? Who knows? There could be a big switch up coming.
Yeah, I know. I just think at the moment, some of the top clubs, and we know this has been a thing in the NRLW for quite some time now, is some of the top clubs just keep attracting these really, really good players. And we definitely don't want the competition to, mellow out, I guess, and just have some really good teams and some teams who are struggling. At the moment, I think we're at a pretty good level, but yeah, no, it's just an interesting, I guess, concept of where the game's at. And until we go full time, I guess we don't really know.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And it's not just the club performance on the ladder. It's, as a player, you look at the club as a whole and the security that they can offer. And these clubs have really good job setups and offerings as well. So, I mean, it is attractive to go to a club like that. You would plan, I would say, to stay at a club as a lifetime player. So if you make a move to a club like that, you're going to want to be there for a very long time. And if they're offering security, that's really attractive to female athletes. That's what we need in the game. So, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a very interesting one. Stay tuned, because we know the girls love to talk. So I'm sure this will come out quite soon, whether this one's true or not. And I've heard a rumour that they might have to get a Henny Penny up there, because Jessie Southwell loves Henny Penny. So, it'd be weird to see her in different colours other than the Newcastle Knights. But, yeah, as I said, stay tuned. Next, it was the Cowboys v Bulldogs. It was the last game of the round. The Cowboys winning 22 to the Bulldogs 6. Cowboys winning again.
Yeah, good to see the Cowboys with some consistency. They have been brewing and growing. You know, last year we're like, you've got so many good players in your team. There's no reason why you can't be up there in the ladder. And then this year they're showing that good consistency and progress throughout their season. And they've had a few changes in their halves. I think like Rosie Kelly was in there and Kira Dibb was off, and then Kira Dibb is back and Tallulah Tillett is there. I feel like Tallulah is leading a little bit more at the moment. She's the one that's taking the reins in the halves, and Kira Dibb also just came back with a vengeance and proved exactly why she should be on that field and why she's the top tier player that she is, scoring her own try, and her kicks were outstanding. So, yeah, looking in really good form. Yeah,
Tallulah does have that 7 on her back at the moment. But, yeah, as you said, Kira Dibb, massive game, 40-30. She got a try assist for Jasmine Peters as well. I thought she was great, as was Jakaya Whitfield. Massive try-saving tackle on Moana Courtenay, who played really well for Bulldogs as well. But, yeah, it's one of those things where Cowboys, you see they're on the up as well. And with some player changes and some girls who have come in, I do think that they've signed some really good players. Ricky Henry, the coach up there, I know he's got a few of the Kiwi Ferns girls there. A big pull when he's obviously the Kiwi Ferns head coach as well. So, yeah, the Cowboys look great. Bulldogs, that head knock to Ash Quinlan knocks them around. Andy Robinson and Holly Wheeler both had try savers, but it just wasn't enough. Wasn't clicking for them.
Yeah, I think last night they obviously missed Ash Quinlan when she went off, and I'm not sure if it was a head knock or her shoulder. But they missed when she went off. They had 4 attempts at the line, repeat efforts, and they didn't get over the line. That shows that there's some work to be done in their attacking and good ball. They're fine moving up the field at times. They show moments of brilliance and really good momentum, but they do struggle at the try line. Unless it's an Ash Quinlan cut-out ball, finding McGregor on the end. That's kind of how they've found their success getting over the line. Other than that, they have a little bit of trouble with their creativity.
Yeah, it's one of those years where they beat the Knights in round 1, and you sort of think, oh my gosh, are the Bulldogs contenders? And then they've sort of just had a few crappy results, to be honest. And it's hard to sort of see where their season goes to from here. The Cowboys, though, as we said, they look like they're on the up. I would have said the same about the Eels, but at the moment it looks like the Cows are flying, and we definitely need them to lose some games so that the Sharkies go ahead on the ladder. But let's get stuck into round 8. Some big matchups. None bigger than this one, probably the Bulldogs versus the Raiders, a team who finally got their first win in the Raiders, and the Bulldogs who are coming off some losses and need to get back in the saddle.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good matchup for both teams. They kind of need to crawl their way back into finding momentum and finding how they want to play the game. So I think that's going to be a really interesting matchup and a really good battle to watch.
Yeah, and speaking of battles to watch, I think this one's might be a good one for the number 7s. Zahara Tamada, we just talked about how good she's been with the boot, and Taylor Preston, who her coach has said she kicks better than some of the men.
Yeah.
So, this will be a big one. I think both have to be on their game for their team to win. I am going to tip the Raiders. Shonny?
Ooh, I think off the back of this week's performance, I will tip the Raiders as well. They're going to get on a good run.
Moving on to the Titans v Dragons. Again, 2 teams who have lost a little bit of form, but we've also seen some big performances from them. What do you think?
I'm going to tip the Titans. I saw a lot of fight in them against the Sharks, and I think that they will take a lot of confidence away from that and, play well. Yeah,
I'm actually going to go the opposite here. I love doing this.
Of course you are.
I love doing this. It's shit stirrer, I know.
Have we got the tally? Do we know?
We might need to look back at that and see who's winning here. I know last week, though, I did tip the Green Machines last week and they won. I didn't tip the Tigers, silly girl. Key matchup this week for me, the leaders, the number 13s, Georgia Hale versus Hannah Southwell. Both have been known to be the best tacklers in the game. As I said, I'm tipping the Red V. I think their pace just might have it over the Titans. Out wide, they had Indy Bostock back. Things just weren't clicking. They were dropping balls that they shouldn't have been dropping. Flash was obviously frustrated. Racine was frustrated. So I really think if it clicks for them, they could score a lot of points.
Yeah, that's the key point. If it clicks, they will score a lot of points. But as we saw in their performance this week, it just didn't. With the inclusion of Indy Bostock, I thought that they were going to just smoothly take it out, but that didn't happen. And the people that you think are going to have a good battle, Hannah Southwell and Georgia Hale. Yeah, if Hannah Southwell keeps them tidy and is on the field the entire time, it definitely will be a tackle count battle.
Yeah, so with that, we saw a couple girls spear tackle, I guess, into the ground, whatever, above horizontal, we know is a
lifting
penalty.
Lifting the leg and above horizontal.
Do you think she'll get suspended for that?
I don't know. From listening to the commentary, it was that there was no force afterwards, and that's going to make the difference. So who knows? Judiciary.
It's one of those things where it's so like when it happens, there's so much grey area around, what is super bad because we don't know. Is it supposed to be on, I guess, I look at
interpretation.
The Raiders,
yeah.
The Raiders game where old girl got sent because she dumped her on her head. Is there much of a difference between the two? Yes, one's on the head, one's probably more shoulder. But I feel like we can't go off how it ends up.
Yeah.
The severity of the injury.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be going off that because we're just inviting people in or if she gets hurt, she gets hurt and then you get in trouble.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's that we shouldn't be doing it at all. It should be trained out of us entirely. No lifting of the leg, no spear tackles at all. It's not about what you say the result is, the malice after or the intent. It's about the fact that we should not be doing it at all.
You said it so smoothly and I just was fluffing around there for so long. Could not get the words out today.
I knew what you were saying. It's okay.
Wow. You know what? I can't even blame it on something like having a coffee every morning because I honestly, I don't even drink coffee. I'm 22.
So you weren't late because you were getting a coffee? Is that?
Traffic's really bad in the city. I'm a country girl, okay? That's my excuse. Wow, Shonny, I've been called out. I'm more rattled now.
I couldn't wait to call you out on that one. No.
Let's move on to the Eels versus the Roosters. Again, I'm going to go a battle of the locks. I think Kennedy Charrington, she's a very fiery girl and going up against, current Dally M medalist Olivia Koenig. They're teammates in New South Wales Origin, but Kennedy won't back down from anyone, and I think this will be a really good test because the Roosters will probably be looking at trying to get her started and pick at her.
Yep, as much as you say the Roosters are going to try and get Kennedy started and pick at her, Kennedy's running around and she's definitely going to be trying to poke the bear and get Olivia Koenig as well, which is going to be a good game to watch. We're going to love the fire. They're two very different players but make a huge impact. So also both very mobile. So I'm looking forward to seeing them, meet.
Yeah, no, same. And I do really feel for the Eels. I think they lost two of their young superstars. Cassie Tohihiku, she's a huge loss. She's so quiet and people probably, for that reason, she's probably not as known in the NRLW. Yeah. They know how good she is. I know she's signed a contract extension there. And Rory Owen, who everyone's been talking about for the last 12 months, she's been a superstar. So to lose those two girls, who play next to each other on the field, would finding their connection, it's a huge loss. And again, I could sit here and talk about the Roosters forever. They're superstars across the park, and I think they'll just be way too good for the Eels. I'm expecting a big scoreline here.
Yeah, as you touched on Casey Tohihiku as a loss and that she's so quiet, we know how good she is. The video replays and the game shows how good she is, but she definitely shies away from social media, which means that you don't see as much of her or she doesn't get the accolades that she truly deserves. She is an absolute beast, can play the entire edge and the middle. Her kicks, when she is on form, she's absolutely unstoppable, and she can run 100 meters and score tries all on her own. So, I mean, if she isn't going to speak up for herself, she's at least got players around her who know how to highlight all of the great qualities that she has, and I'll be one of them every single time. A huge loss for the Eels and Rory Owen as well. She's been an absolute machine. The connection between those two has scored a lot of tries and saved a lot of tries for the Eels. So, yes, the Roosters are going to have another smooth transition into this game, I think, with the loss that the Eels have had. So I'll tip them.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And speaking about Cassie, she is a freak. She could, you touched on it, she could play in the middle. She could definitely play that 13 role. She plays in the halves.
Yep.
I played with her in 19's Origin in 2022. She played on the wing. So, again, one of those players who super strong, very deceptively quick.
Yep.
So good with the footy. I played sevens with her. Her passing's unbelievable. Her kicking game's good. So, yeah, she's a huge loss. And I feel like the Eels, though, they're that sort of side that they won't roll over. They'll keep throwing punches. So I think that's what you need against a side like the Roosters. Let's move on to the Sunday matchups. And the first one, I said this before, but I was excited about the teams who had got their first win last week. But I do think this will be the matchup of the round. We've got the Knights taking on the Broncos. This will be a close one.
Yeah, this one I'm excited about. I don't know if it's that they play similarly when they're in form or not, but they're two teams that they are on the up. When they're riding the wave and they're humming, they're both unstoppable. So it just depends if Tamika Upton's having an on game and just rip shreds through them. Obviously, it's her old team, but she definitely knows how to take it up another level when she's playing a previous team, and I'm sure she'll come out wanting to do that in this particular game.
Well, I remember the Knights when Millie Boyle-Elliott, when she left, the Knights just wanted to absolutely get stuck into her in their first game back, which I think was actually a Harvey Norman game, but they were ripping in, and so
I remember that game.
I think it was a Monday night game or something.
Yeah, it was in the Central Coast. I remember watching that. It was like, welcome back, Millie Boyle.
Crazy. But, I know the Knights will probably be looking to get stuck into Tamika for sure. Speaking of fullbacks, Bovete Welsh, she was out on the weekend, so hopefully she's back. Lillian White did a great job, but Bo's experience and her nice little touches, they'll certainly be looking forward to having her back if she's sweet. It was in the warm-up, so I'm hoping it's more of a ping or something than
just a safety. Being a bit conservative, making sure that she can continue the rest of the season. That's what I'm hoping for as well.
Yeah, but I think the matchups for this one, the centres, Shanice Parker, she's been great. Her defense is awesome. Mele Hufanga, her running game's awesome. So I feel like this will be a good little matchup here. Shanice played a really, really good game on the weekend, and that intercept she took, she's finding her feet again as well. Yeah,
she's a player that is also very deceptive. She's got a lot of aggression and a lot of strength behind her, and then when she gets in open space, her speed is amazing. But that matchup, Mele Hufanga and Shanice Parker, both being Kiwi Ferns, knowing how each other plays, but both being very cheeky as well. There'll be a few few smiles, hits and smiles, I think, from those two.
Smiles until it turns into hating each other on the field and having to be mates off it. It's a hard task, that one. But who are you tipping, Shonny?
I'm going to tip the Broncos. They're just in too much form at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's just strike.
Yeah.
I think when you play Tamika Upton, you're trying to put an extra number on her because you're so worried about her, but all of a sudden they go to a Gail Broughton who hits, a flying centre who they're just so good at the moment. Across the park, they're just got strike. So I think that could bring them undone.
Yeah.
I do think that they'll be trying to put that extra number on Tamika. I think that's how they'll play the game and just try and solve from there.
And Tamika just licks her lips at that. She's like, okay, cool, if you're on me, I just know we'll let the ball go because she's a ball player, and puts it in someone else's hands to score. So, yeah,
Bronx
really
will be
hard.
too good, I think.
Yeah.
Speaking of too good, Warriors versus Sharks. Sharks too good, I think.
I love this.
Leave it there.
I love this because I think that the Sharks are playing well at the moment. They've had a win, which will give them confidence, and the Warriors have had a loss, which, you take a blow, but they're going to have, hopefully, players returning to bring that strength back into the team. And when they are firing, they are pretty amazing as well. So I think that it's going to be a really good battle for you this weekend.
Perfect. I hope not. I think the key matchup for me is the try-scoring wingers. I spoke earlier about Peyton Takimawana. She's been scoring tries left, right and centre. That's a lie. She plays on the left wing. She's not scoring them left, right and centre. I'm an idiot. She's been scoring them on the left edge. But Georgia Ravix is over that side. She loves ragdolling people. She's got that mongrel in her and loves scoring a try as well. So, again, not often you see wingers as the matchup, but I think this is going to be a really good one. And as I said, let's see who the best try scorer is.
Yeah, I think the winger matchup is a really good point. Georgia Ravix is such a strong athlete, and Taki Moana is quite an evasive, fast one. So if Georgia can catch her, I know she'll dominate.
Perfect. Go the Sharkies. That's who we're tipping. Last one, Tigers v Cowboys. Key matchup on this one. I'm going to go the front rowers. Again, Sala Togatuki. I think she's been great against Lily Peacock. Probably could have went the fullback one as well with Jakaya Whitfield and how Caitlin Turnbull's been playing. Don't know what's going to happen with their spine, but I would leave it as is after that win. I'm going to go the pocket rocket, Sarah Togatuki. She's great. And the young Lily Peacock. Young, strong, both hard as nails. I think it'll be a good matchup. Yeah,
hard as nails is the call. Lily Peacock she just has this look on her face like, what's going on? Let me go at it. And just is an absolute workhorse and gets through so many hard tackles. But Sarah Togatuki, again, she's a game changer. Strong, 110% every single time. You never know what's coming.
Even at training.
Yep, exactly. But that is a really good matchup to call. And I think that the Cowboys are going to get this one.
I'm going to go the Cowboys as well here. I think the Tigers will probably come out firing, but I think the Cowboys will just be too good in the end.
Yeah.
Well, Shonny, lots happening in the NRLW world at the moment, but that is all we have time for today on Footy for Real. We hope you enjoyed.